how to shade simple hair. Let's get started. So first lower the opacity of your OC and then create another layer and just use the bucket tool to fill in the hair. Yeah, lower the opacity, go to that another layer and fill in the hair. So like fill it in, do not fill in the line and stuff. So it will look like that. You just need to fill it in so it looks like you've done some line art, because you don't have to do line art in this because I'm making it a simple hair edit. This is optional, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, because it kind of take a while. Because after this stage, nothing's perfect. We also have to fix it by using some brush tools and make some adjustment to make it look right. Because look at that, what is that? We don't want that, okay? Okay, so we're just gonna fix it. I'm gonna speed up this process so you don't have to bear with me here, because I'm also struggling because this is hard. Not really, just time consuming. Okay, now we're gonna fix the back here. Create a new layer. For this layer I'm merging, is just me adding another layer to put on with the adjustment, because if I don't like it I can just delete it later. Now yeah, this is a separate layer. I'm gonna do the back here because again I don't want to make any mistakes and regret it later. Now we're done, just merge it all in. Now create a new layer and clip it. Now change the brush to an airbrush and try to pick like the lighter, like brighter version of your OC's hair color, which I'm just gonna change the color to cyan. If you have like red hair, you could just like use orange. If you have orange, you can just use yellow. Like yeah, judging by the color you're using. And don't mind the other mistakes I just did a few seconds ago. Okay. I was just trying to make a perfect blob on the hair, and now I've done it, so be proud, mothers. Okay, now we're just gonna change the layer blending mode to a color dodge so it will look like, more glowy and stuff. Now we're gonna like change the opacity to my liking or your liking, your choice. Duplicate that layer and clear the whole thing because we don't need it. Change the blending mode to color burned and choose like a darker version of your hair color, and change the color a bit and dab it on the ends of your hair. Yeah, just like that. And you can just like adjust your opacity then and there if you want to. I'm gonna also dab on like the top of the head because I want to. I don't know, it just look good that way. Now we're just gonna merge all of them in. Please merge in like the lightest color first so it won't look weird. Merge in the light color first and then the dark color. Now we're gonna use the pen fade brush. Change the blending mode to multiply. And this is where we like figure out where our light source is so we can like add the shadows. For me, my light source is at like the top right corner, since that's what I go for every time I edit, and I'm sticking to that. Apologies, my light source knowledge isn't that great, so some of the shadows doesn't make sense at all, but I just do what I can do best since I'm not really good at it, but at least it looks good. Now it's just me adding shadows, speeding up this process so you don't have to wait and bear with me here because I'm struggling a lot. But even if my knowledge about light source and shadows are horrible, I can still give you some tips, and that is let's just say the light source is from the top, so that means places that did not hit the light that you think will not hit the light will be covered in shadows, and things that are covered in the front, the under stuff, here's the under stuff, the back of the hair mostly is the under stuff, is covered by shadows. That is the back of the hair because they have bangs, so we have to put the shadows behind the bangs. I'm just gonna lower the opacity so we will have soft shadows and not hard shadows. We don't want that yet. And here's me fixing the back of the hair because it looks kind of weird. You see, the back of the hair mostly have shadows because it's covered by the front hair, or you can say bangs or rear hair. Okay, take note of that. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows about that, but I'm just telling you stuff that you already know because that's useful.
I did not mean meant to say useless.
Okay, well, once that's done, we create a new layer. And we're gonna set it to multiply because we're making a hard shadow out of the soft shadows. Set it to multiply. Sorry, my brain didn't work for a second. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing that we did, but not on top of it much. You see that much? Half of it or just a bit of it, because we want to make it darker. And we're using the same color here. We didn't change the color to any darker or any brighter. The same color, but just on another multiply layer, and just a like percentage of the shadows we made before. Yeah, exactly just like that. Now I'm just gonna speed up the process because nobody likes to wait. Now we're just gonna adjust the opacity by lowering it down or making it higher to the way we want it. And we're done, we're gonna merge the layer and create a new layer and create the highlights by changing the blending mode to add. And this point of on is the opposite. We're gonna add the highlights at the part that the light is at. Like the light source of ours are at the top right corner. So the top right corner is mostly to have some light. Okay, so we're just gonna put it on that piece of strand here. Yeah, like that. Now I'm just gonna make some blob on each strand of hair. Not because of any light source reason, this is just for stylistic choice. Yeah, just for each strand of hair, but not each, only the front here, because we're gonna be paying attention to that more. I don't know, I just made that up. Who pay attention on the hair, we're paying attention on the face.
And it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, like that. We're creating something like that. I'm just gonna I've decided that I want to change the blending mode to multiply. I don't know what I was thinking back then, but yeah, sure. This is a stylistic choice. You could either just use add or multiply. Here's 2 examples that I did. And yeah, change your opacity to the way you want it, create another layer, and this layer is actually gonna be the highlights layer. Now this is where things get different. We're gonna choose the base color again, try to make the highlights, but before we actually make blob and shade and stuff, we're gonna select the airbrush and tap on the top right corner where our light is. We're gonna do that first because that is where the light is, and the light glows. Yeah, do something like that. Yeah, it looks pretty now. Please don't make this too harsh though. Now we're gonna use our soft brush or blurring brush, whatever you want, and create highlights, and not with an airbrush, like something like this. And yes, like this. I know that strand of hair is at the top, meaning the bottom will have a shadow, but if the light hit it too much, it will not become a shadow. If that makes any sense, that's what I was thinking back then. I don't know. But yeah, look at this. It looks pretty, okay? It looks pretty. You should make it more make sense other than making it look pretty, because if it makes sense, it's gonna look pretty. But I don't know how to make it make sense, so I just make it look pretty. Now just speed up the process. Now when that's done, we're gonna create a new layer and merge in all the other layers. Set it to clipping and use the blending mode to normal. Now we're just gonna select the skin color and dab it on the face, like around the face, and the hair around the face, because it will create this it will look like this, and I think it looks nice, okay? Now when you think it looks nice enough for you, you could just create a new layer and set it to color burnt, and select a darker version of the hair color, really dark. So I'm just gonna use this dark blue and gonna dab at the bottom of the hair, or the part that does not hit the light, which is also the side because it's the top right corner, Now we're just gonna adjust the opacity to the way we want it, and yeah, merge in the layers and create a new one. In this layer, we're gonna create the strands of the hair so it will look more flowy and stuff. We're gonna use the dip pen soft brush, that's what I prefer. and create these strands of hair so your hair won't look like plastic, or I don't know, it just create more this flowy hair realistic feel. So to create the strands, just like I drop the color that you're gonna make the strand for. Like if you're gonna make the strand there, you're gonna just I drop it and create some strands for it like this. Yeah, like that. This will make it look more flowy and more natural. Like I don't know, it just makes a difference and it just look good. Okay? Yeah, KK. But please do remember that these strands are not random. You just can't just like, you know, create random strands on the head, make it all flow down to one direction. Like, yeah, the one direction is right, but don't just like do random strands on the head and we'll expect it to look nice. Like that is okay, okay, that part's kind of okay. You can fix it in there, but like, yeah, basically, just don't create random strands like that and such. Like, this is acceptable, like this is acceptable, okay? Acceptable, but don't just do something like this. Like, no, that's a no-no and you should not do that at all. If you do that, please, like, try to, no, just no, please. You don't do that. Okay, so now I'm just gonna use my original hair strands that I created, and after that, we're gonna create a new layer. Well, to be honest, this part is not necessary. I just like the brows of the gacha, like the gacha brows to be at the front of the hair other than making the strands covering the brows. So not necessary if you think it looks okay already.